All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to 95.5 KZLZ, the voice of Louisiana Christian University. It's Tuesday. That means it's time for our Wildcats Media podcast, and we love bringing this to you every Tuesday afternoon during the fall semester as part of our sports journalism class. I'm your professor, Al Quartermont, joining me in the studio, beginning with the seniors. First of all, Noel Schonhoff.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Also on the other side of the glass, we have Miss Carmen Taffi.
Hello.
And then on the other side of her, Kai Stone.
What's up? It's
Kai
good to be here.
The family Stone. There you go. All right. And then we've got the junior with us, DeMarcus Fugett. DeMarcus, what's up?
What's up, Mr. Al?
All right. And finally, the sophomore, the baby of the group, Dennis Williams, fresh off his appearance in the Wildcat Weekly Minute update doing the sports today. Dennis, how are you?
I'm doing good.
All right. Looking forward to a good show today. As we do, we always kind of run things, or start things off, I should say, by talking about LCU athletics. And I guess, guys, we can start first with the football team. Who wants to tell us a little bit about what the Wildcats did this last Saturday?
The LCU football team is 3-0, man. And they won. Wow, that was loud.
Sorry about that.
And it was a big-time victory. They beat Langston University, and they had 546 total yards of offense, with Devin Briscoe with 156 yards rushing and a touchdown. This is a big-time victory for LCU as they keep progressively moving forward in the top 25.
Yeah, getting more votes. And Noel, they also had a Player of the Week honor.
They did. So Mason Ingram actually won his, I believe it's his first honor. And it wasn't just a regular Red River honor or SAC honor. This was from actually the Louisiana State Riders Association, or it's Louisiana Riding Sports Association. Sports Riders Association. Sorry, I messed that up. He was averaged 44 yards per punt, launching his three, a total of 132 yards, including a 50-yard punt across the field. He is really, their special teams has added so much to this team. When the special teams come, I don't remember the last time they've actually missed something in any of their, I can't remember at the top of my head them missing any in that area.
I think in week one they did have a missed field goal, but other than that,
really? I don't even remember that.
But I think it was partially blocked, if I remember right.
Okay.
So, no doubt about it. They're adding a lot on special teams, which is an important phase of the game that sometimes teams do forget about. The other thing, guys, the defense continues to play really well. They gave up a couple of late touchdowns in that game, but by then the game was well in hand. So this week, getting a chance to take on Wayland Baptist once again, a team they handled pretty easily last year. Kai, as a football player, how do you keep yourself mentally sharp when you're 3-0 and you know you're playing a team that on paper you should beat pretty easily?
You treat it as another week. You don't, just because you're facing a lesser opponent compared to it, it doesn't delay the preparation. It's still not going to get in the way of you practicing every single day, how you mentally prepare. You just can't. You just physically can't because, some teams like Wayland Baptist like to make the upset. Like last year, we were in a position of us going against Langston and upsetting them. So upsets can happen. So as a team, this is the games that you need to focus on the most, get the job done. So
for sure. All right, who wants to tell us about the volleyball team? All right, here's Noel.
So, unfortunately, LCU's volleyball team did suffer their first two losses of the season, but to make it a little bit better, they were playing the defending two-time RRAC champions. So, but also in their play, they weren't completely drastic sets. They were neck and neck with Xavier this weekend, so it wasn't a total washout. It wasn't that they weren't competing. They were competing with Xavier. So, as a good friend of mine who used to go here, Malik Cooper, used to say, it's not about how you perform in the beginning, it's about how you perform in the end. And I do believe these Wildcats will, in the end, compete even more with Xavier, and it won't be just a they just got them. It'll go set for set who's going to win, and it will be up with them. It could, toss up a a coin, and they'll take it. But the Wildcats actually are going to play Centenary tonight, host them at home at 6 p.m., and then Friday and Saturday matchups on the road against Texas A&M, Texarkana, and we'll actually see as they dive into conference play on the road this weekend how they are going to match up deeper into conference play.
Yeah, I feel like they're making a lot of progress under head coach Brittany Sloom. I mean, you think about where this program was just a few years ago, basically, just getting it started, and now here they are competing with the best of the best. They lost 3 sets straight on both Friday and Saturday to Xavier, but a lot of those sets were really close and could have gone either way. So I think they're starting to make that noise that they are a force to be reckoned with, and can't sleep on those Wildcat volleyball players. Okay, who wants to cover soccer for us, the soccer teams?
So both of our soccer teams actually won, men's and women's, against LSU of Alexandria on Saturday, and we have 2 conference players. So we have Emma Monet, who's for the women's soccer team, and Geronimo Lorraine Olivares is the conference defensive player on the men's team. And then they're on the road to Hobbs, New Mexico, doubleheaders on Thursday against University of Southwest, and then Saturday in Dallas against Paul Quinn. It's a very good week for our soccer team.
Yeah, and I feel like both of those programs, too, are now at that level where week in and week out, they're going to be one of the tougher teams, not only to play, but to be able to beat. So, and getting recognized by the conference, too, that's not too shabby either. So I feel good about those soccer programs.
We were just looking at them yesterday in class, the men's, and they have a pretty strong team this year.
Yeah. A lot of players, international players from outside the U.S., but they've done a good job bringing them together. Seen a lot of heads nodding. Noel?
Yeah, to talk about independent success in soccer itself, Emma Monet actually, for her 3rd time in her career, performed a hat trick this weekend. And, that's big, for them. It's like hitting a grand slam in softball, or, someone making an interception. And, it's a big thing. And she scored a trio of goals on 4 shots while adding an assist, and then giving her a 7-point day in play against LSUA. And LSUA, not even the slightest sense, it looks like they blew them out, but LSUA's program has been solid for years in soccer, men's soccer as well, and these soccer teams aren't built of just people locally. These soccer teams have been handcrafted from people from different countries. So these people are talented, and they blew them out the water in soccer terms, because 6-1 is completely, that's blowing them out the water.
This is the men's first time defeating the Generals.
It is first time in program history of
with a 3-0 win.
Wow.
You could see the emotion on the men's face after that win against LSUA. It meant so much to them, and I think head coach David Castillo, he really puts into them this. They believe in their team, and you can see it with the emotion on their face. They show a lot of emotion in anything that they do, any score. After a soccer player makes a goal, they immediately run up and hug each other. That is just common courtesy, I guess, in their sport. But they were kissing this bowl. I don't remember what it's called, what the name of the bowl is, but it's what soccer does. It's the Battle of the Border Claw for football. Okay, I didn't know what their bowl was, but they were seen kissing this bowl, and they were so proud of it. But yeah, you can see the pride that they have in their sport, and how they're eager to win. So yeah, they're also making noise over there. So
I think, and you hinted at this last week, Noel, the switch to the NAIA, and now part of the Red River Athletic Conference for most sports, Sooner Athletic Conference for football. and how transformative that's been for the sports programs. You know, what people don't see, I was talking to a couple of the sports coaches today right before chapel, and they were remarking how early this morning the whole campus was alive with activity, like around 5, 6 a.m., because all of these teams were practicing or doing workouts. DeMarcus is shaking his head. Were you guys out running this morning? Is that what I hear? Did you guys have an early start today, DeMarcus?
Yeah, we had an early start, but we was inside the pool. We had
okay.
pool workouts this morning.
Okay, all right. So as an athlete, what are those early morning workouts like for you guys?
It's stressful. waking up every morning around 5 o'clock, 5:15.
Yeah.
It take a toll on your body.
And how often are you guys, DeMarcus is a basketball player, how many times a week are you guys doing that right now?
6 days a week.
6 days a week?
Yes, sir. We only off on Saturdays.
Well, wait.
That's our only day off.
Doesn't Coach Mason have a long drive to get here, or does he oversee those?
Coach Mason ain't with us right now. It's just us and
okay. Oh, that's
Coach
right,
Zach.
because it's not the official practice. You're just doing conditioning.
Yeah.
Right,
our
right.
first practice is this Sunday.
Ooh.
First official practice.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then you get back to regular times with those, or
no, sir.
Early morning?
Yes, sir. We have to be on the court for 5:15. So that means I'll have to be up around 4:45.
Wow. But it disciplines you, right?
Yes, sir. Really does.
You might have a job one day where you got to get up that early every day. You didn't sound too excited about that.
Yeah, that's too early.
Yeah. Well, I get up at 5:30 every day, so you get used to it eventually, or after a while. But as you see the other teams that are working out, like I know football practices early some of the mornings just because it's been so hot out, and some of those other programs, is there at least a feeling like, hey, we're in this together and we can kind of share in our misery that we all have to get up so early?
Basically, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Or at least mutual complaining about it.
Yes, sir. But we get it out the way. We rather go in the morning so we can have the rest of the day off, even though we still have like 2 or 3 practices throughout the day after that.
Right.
But I'd rather get it done in the morning.
Yeah, there you go. Knock it out, as
Yes,
they
sir.
say. So, all right. Transitioning now, you're listening to the Wildcats Media Sports Podcast. And let's talk a little bit about the rest of the world of college football this past weekend. Some interesting results. It was an early morning start for LSU, that 11 a.m. kickoff in Starkville against Mississippi State, but didn't seem to slow the Tigers very much as they rolled to a 41-14 victory. So after dropping that opening week game to Florida State, the Tigers have had back-to-back pretty impressive blowouts. Mm-hmm. Do you think we're starting to see the real LSU Tigers now, and what do you think of them moving forward? Noel's shaking her head. What's up with that?
I don't know. I'm a strong believer in, we're going to see it personally here. Dennis kind of talked about it a little bit. No, actually it wasn't Dennis. It was Kai. I apologize, Kai. Kai was talking about it. You can't sleep on these teams that are, and I just feel like you're not going to see LSU's best until they play the best. They're playing these teams that these last two, that they should win against. And, I mean, as an athlete, a retired athlete, when you get beat in a game that you should get beat in, I think that's the worst kind of, loss that you can take. It's, a humbling experience. So they should be winning these games, and until they play, a team that is supposed to give them some, no offense to any of the teams that they're playing, but, they're not higher, kind of thing. So until LSU plays, a team that they're actually going to compete with and it isn't, a stomp, then I'll be ready to comment. But until then, I'm really not. Holding my opinion.
I agree because, LSU, next on their schedule, they got Arkansas, Missouri, Army. Their next challenge is not until I read that wrong. I read that completely wrong. No, their next challenge is not till this week. They have Arkansas. Next week they go take on number 15 Mississippi. That's a challenge for them, and so we really won't be able to see. And then after that game, there's a couple more weeks until they face Bama. So I agree with Noel because these games you should win against unranked opponents. You should. Under Brian Kelly, they didn't hire him just to get by or just be an average team. They came to be the best. So, that's what I would say.
And as someone once said, to be the best, you got to beat the best. Right? Mm-hmm. So Arkansas Saturday at 6, then at Ole Miss. That's going to be a challenge for sure. Right now, LSU's 12th, Mississippi's 15th. You know that the Rebels are going to be jacked up for that game. Come off that, go to Missouri. Then you come home to take on Auburn, then Army, and then Alabama, November 4th, followed up by Florida, which is always a really tough rivalry game too, then Georgia State, and then finally Texas A&M. So really for LSU, I feel like there are 2 games on their schedule that they especially have to be prepared for, and that would be the Ole Miss game and then the Alabama game. Florida will be tough, but you got them at home, so that will be definitely an advantage. What do you think right now of Jaden Daniels? Watching him, is there a quarterback in college football right now that throws a better deep ball based on what we saw this last Saturday, where he and Malik Neighbors were just deadly hooking up?
I got the number pulled up. Let me go back to my tab that I had pulled up. So LSU had a total of 530 yards. 367 were passing yards. So out of all of the yards Jaden Daniels had, listen to this, number 8, Malik Neighbors, had 13 receptions for 239 yards.
Wow.
13 catches. He was unstoppable. So I think that's a sign things come, hopefully, because it's a deadly duo. So
yeah, they look good so far. What about their defense? Do you guys think they're starting to come together a little bit? Dennis, not sure.
Not Alabama. The LSU defense is inconsistent. It's good. It's a good defense. When they're on one, when everybody's on one accord and everyone's fully aligned and with everything that they need to do, this is a great defense in the SEC. But when you look at the game, like at Florida State, and I would even say the Grambling game, you had opportunities in the beginning where you had a guy, their running back at Grambling, he rushed for I think it was 109 rushing yards. Mm-hmm. You can't let that happen. You just cannot let that happen. And the Mississippi State game, you did what you were supposed to do. But like you were saying, Ole Miss, that's gonna be a game I'm really gonna be watching to see how that defense plays.
For sure. All right, other college football. Alabama went down to South Florida. Game had rain, lightning delay. For a while, South Florida was winning, and then Alabama asserted itself and pulled away to win 17-3. But it seems like with Alabama right now, they have no idea what to do with their quarterback situation. They've tried 3 different guys at this point. Nothing seems to be working too well. That's unusual to see Alabama in that kind of position.
Absolutely, because you're just going away from Bryce Young and Jalen Hurts, Tua. Going back from just very good quarterbacks that are noble in the NFL right now.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones. Yeah, it's just very unusual for the Alabama to be in this type of position.
I agree. Also, we had Florida State, the team that beat LSU earlier this year, beat Boston College 31-29. That was a pretty exciting game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Pretty exciting game, but
and then lastly, the game Saturday night started late. Colorado and Colorado State. Colorado, Deion's team, wins in overtime, 43-35. 2 overtimes, I should say. And Colorado State gave them everything they wanted and more, and then for whatever reason in the last 2 minutes of the game went into a prevent defense last minute of regulation and gave up the tying touchdown. And I don't understand why teams do this where their defense was dominating all night long and then you just go into that weak cover 2 defense and they just march right down the field. It's like you're giving the game away.
Well, the only excuse I could give to Colorado State, they probably felt like Shedeur doesn't have that type of a deep ball accuracy. But, I mean, he picked them apart. He was picking them apart the entire game. And after this game, I'm not going to say after that game. If they beat Oregon, I might have to put Shedeur top of the Heisman. Maybe.
Yeah.
He's at least top 2.
Oh, yeah.
I 100% agree with that because, I mean, Shedeur, he is looking good. Like, he's unstoppable. Like, his game, he's looking off defenses. Like, most quarterbacks in college don't develop that skill into the NFL. And this is his first year of college, looking off and, like, just getting to the spots, looking off coverages, threading the needle for some of these passes. Like, it's just insane. So I 100% agree with that.
Okay.
We thought the Marcus was going to talk.
I was about to, but
He grabbed his
He
microphone,
covered it.
so we thought he was going to add to the conversation.
nah, he covered what I was going to say.
What about the whole atmosphere that they've created there, though? Because the game Saturday, I mean, you've got, well, first of all, during College Game Day, The Rock shows up. The Rock was there. And then, during the game, you got, like, all these different rappers that were there. And, I mean, it's just it reminds me a little bit of what Miami Hurricanes were in the 90s, where because they were a winning team and they had a little bit of that swag, that it kind of, attracted more of a celebrity-type audience. Do you think is that a good thing for Colorado, for college football? Is it sustainable for them?
I would say for a Deion Sanders-led team, I would say it's a good thing because we saw it. Because the team is going to reflect the coach.
Yeah.
And how the coach acts, that's how the team is going to act, essentially. That's how it should be. And Deion Sanders, we all know he's prime time. So the team, you see Travis Hunter, he's down there talking smack to the other players. Deion, he talks smack to the coach. Like, everybody's talking smack to each other in the rivalry game. And like you said, when head coach Jay Norvell started yapping, and it just, one thing led to another, it became personal. And so then now you have all the celebrities coming down there saying, oh, yeah, it's personal, it's personal, it's personal. And these are the celebrities reflecting Deion Sanders. You don't see that everywhere. And so when players see that, they're like, okay, I want to go here. I want to play for this coach because he actually cares about all of us, and we're like one unit. So when you go down there, you got to handle business. You have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's taking the opportunity to really try to teach them some larger life lessons too. So, but at the same time, I saw where the other day they were asking him about his center. And Dean didn't even know the guy's name. So the guy's literally snapping to his son on every play, and he didn't know his name. So, but he did bring in a lot of new players, so maybe that's why. But so they got Oregon this week. Y'all think that's sustainable against a team like Oregon? Is this where we find out?
Yeah, but I mean, I will say, like, they have momentum. They beat TCU, who finished within the top 4 of the college football playoffs last year. So, I mean, they beat them. They're winning games, and like they have a hype. They have people behind them on fire. There's a lot of noise about Colorado football. It's just not people within Colorado. It's just, like you said, rappers, The Rock, everybody just excited. So they have a lot of momentum going forward, and I believe it's going to carry against Oregon.
All right, we'll see, won't we? Okay. Again, you're listening to the Wildcats Media Sports Podcast. Let's jump into a little NFL talk. Let's start with the most recent games, and last night, the Saints improving to 2-0 with a 20-17 victory over the Panthers, a game that was probably closer than it should have been by the final score because it felt like the Saints really pretty much dominated this game, especially on defense. They looked really good. I feel like the Saints this year could have a top-tier defense. Your thoughts?
I agree. I watched that game. The offense was a little bit slow, just getting everything to come through, but that defense was dominant. They was very dominant the whole night. Bryce Young, it made it tough for Bryce Young. Like, he really couldn't throw it. I don't know the specific stats of like the yardage and stuff, but yeah, the Saints defense dominated. They held them to 3 points most of the night, and just one touchdown. It's pretty good. And the following week, they held the Titans to just 15, I believe. So their defense is very strong.
Seems like it's going to be the key.
For sure, because you never know what type of with quarterbacks like Derek Carr, you never know what you're going to get.
Right, exactly. But I will say this about Carr yesterday. I felt like the main thing he did was not turn over the football. So I feel like if he can manage the game, he was 21 out of 36, 228 yards. You're probably going to win a lot of games if you do that, where, again, he's kind of moving the ball down the field, getting them in scoring position and not turning it over, and then letting your weapons do the work after that. Now, they lost Jamal Williams. Not sure how long he'll be out. But I really thought using Taysom Hill as more of a running back last night was like, whoa. Why haven't we done that before,
Yeah, I was just like, wow, that's, like, very interesting. Like, also, what's the situation with Alvin Kamara? Is he hurt?
He's suspended.
Suspended. Yeah, makes sense. I
think 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Right? Oh, okay. But, man, that team is deadly. Like, Taysom Hill running? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. They need to feature that a little bit more, I think, So, and then from a wide receiver core, just like some good spreading it out with Michael Thomas, 7 catches, Olave, 6, Shaheed with 4, Foster Moreau getting a chance to play, a couple catches, Juwan Johnson, a couple of catches. So I like the fact that, and I'm sure Carr does too, he's got multiple weapons and a number of options on every play. That's going to definitely help you as a quarterback.
Absolutely, and especially Chris Olave looked amazing yesterday.
Yeah,
like,
wow. Great catch he made with one hand.
Absolutely. He just looks great. He looks very energized. He can catch the deep ball. He's fast. Absolutely. And you have Michael Thomas, too.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a lot of weapons. You have Taysom Hill, and not to mention when you get Alvin Kamara back, and as long as you have, Mo Williams, you have a squad.
Yeah, when Williams went down, they brought in Jones, and he did pretty well, too. He had a couple of touchdowns. So this is a deep team. This is probably the deepest Saints team in 3 or 4 years, I would say. Mm-hmm. And now you've got a pretty well-experienced quarterback. So hopefully that bodes well for the future. And next week, Saints will be in Green Bay to take on the Packers. Everyone's laughing. Noel's laughing. Okay, other NFL games last night. The Steelers came back to beat the Browns 26-22. The big story out of that game was Cleveland losing running back, Nick Chubb, to an injury. So pretty devastating knee injury for sure. That was tough to see. And he'll be out for the year. So,
how do you feel, Dennis?
Yeah, Dennis, how you feel, man? You was talking all that trash.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's the Cleveland fan in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Dude, Deshaun Watson had some terrible passes in that game. You got to admit.
It was bad. This is bad. And the thing is, before Nick Chubb got hurt, he had 10 carries for 64 yards. Guy was getting 6 yards a carry. Like, he was on his way to having a monster game, and we were going to win that game in a landslide. It wouldn't have been close, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he got hurt. Deshaun Watson, 22 for 40, 235, a touchdown, an interception, got sacked 6 times.
Whew.
Yeah, he couldn't. I don't know what he was doing. I really don't know what he was doing. But the one positive I would take out of all of this, the backup running back, he had 106 rushing yards.
Yeah, Ford.
He's pretty solid. He's pretty solid for a backup running back. Now we're gonna need more of that for the rest of the year, but we
thousands
still might make
of fantasy football owners will be looking to sign him this week.
Yes. Definitely,
for sure.
Well, that's disappointing, Dennis. Well, I will say, I didn't mean to say. Not to you, I told you so, but I told you so. But I mean, like, come on, man. I saw this coming from a mile away. Like, I ain't even gonna lie to you, Dennis. Like, y'all are a run team. Y'all are a run heavy team. Without y'all running, like, I don't know. And I thought y'all could do it with Deshaun Watson, but I don't know, man. It ain't looking too good. Those 2 years off of football, 2-3 years, is for sure showing.
Look, man, I'm gonna say this. Who do we? Okay, let me say this. Who do we have next? We have the Tennessee Titans.
That's a loss.
No, we could win. We can. I still believe that we can make the playoffs because of how. And I'm only saying this because of how the division is shaping out now, and I'm sure we're going to get to that later on. But with the Bengals, the Ravens, the Steelers, they're not, looking too good, but we're not either. But, hey, it's the division. This is not the powerhouse division that we all know and love in the AFC North. So I still believe we can make the playoffs. Make a deep run? Probably not. But at least make the playoffs.
All right. Well, while Kai is throwing shade at you, ask him how his team did last week. Kai, the recent New York Jets fan, his team fell to Carmen's Dallas Cowboys. 30-10 was the final score.
Who? The Jets?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
he switched to the Eagles. He's an Eagles fan.
Oh, you're off
Eagles
that bandwagon.
Yeah.
No, I said Saints.
Okay.
I said Saints.
You come back
to say Eagles.
But okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Like, on to that game. Like, the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson is just, I don't even know what words to. There's just miles. Like, it's just miles. Like, it's bad. Like, the offense, you go from a Super Bowl favorite to just a lot of maybe a wild card team, not even that. Just like it's crazy because Zach Wilson, 3 interceptions, just couldn't find anything to go. You have Breece Hall. I mean, he said after the game the reason why they lost is because they didn't handle the ball after the game. But I mean, I don't know. Like, this team just looks like the energy just got sucked out of them from week 1, and like most of the people don't believe in Zach Wilson anyway from last year. So I mean, yeah, Carmen, go Cowboys. Your Cowboys looking okay so far.
Well, I mean, Dak Prescott did complete 81.6% of his passes for 255 yards, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. So, but CeeDee Lamb, actually, in my opinion, was their all-around best player. He was his primary target. The receiver, 11 catches for 143 yards. But no, it was an interesting game. The Jets for the first half got a lot of flags called on them. But no, the field goal kicker kicked a 55-yard field goal. Zach Martin got an ankle injury on our team, so he had to get pulled from the game. But no, all around it was a good game. The last, I think, minute, they just let the clock run because there was no coming back.
This might actually be the Cowboys' years. They're right as of now. They're number 1 in the NFC right now. Looking at their schedule, they could possibly. I mean, I'm looking through the schedule. Their next difficult game is the 49. I mean, they have the Cardinals next week. They have the 49ers. They have the Rams. They have the Giants. They have the Commanders. They have the Eagles, the Dolphins, and the Commanders again. So, I mean, they could possibly be a top team. I mean, this might be y'all's year. But, I mean, until y'all get to the playoffs, we'll see. I mean,
this Cowboys team, man, best defense in the NFL. This is the best defense in the NFL.
Even over the Niners?
Yes. It's not even close. These guys are the best defense in the NFL. But the only question I'm going to have, like Kai said, for the playoffs, can Dak Prescott be Dak Prescott in the regular season Dak Prescott? Can we have that in the playoffs? That's the only question I have for the Cowboys.
Really, it doesn't matter what you do. They can go undefeated for all I care. Yeah. But as soon as the playoffs kick in, can Dak Prescott elevate himself Because, I mean, that's not the question with the Cowboys. It's not their defense. It's not, their players. It's specifically, can Dak Prescott carry this team? And we have, I mean, over the last few years, we haven't been able to tell that. So, we'll see.
And also, real quick, a little bit of a, kind of a red flag a little bit. Tony Pollard, 25 carries for 72 yards. You got to do better.
Yeah.
You got to do better. That's not, you get rid of Zeke and people say, oh, get the ball to Tony Pollard, get the ball to Tony Pollard. And you do this in week 2. Got to do better, man, if you want to win games.
He did, we were talking about this yesterday, he did somersault over one of the Jets players and made it down to the first down line. So, I mean, he did do a somersault laying on his toes. So, I mean, he was a pretty good player, but I don't know. CeeDee Lamb was just an all-time overall best player of the game, my opinion.
She's liking CeeDee Lamb, who likes to see the end zone.
I like that.
All right. And one more note on that game. Obviously, the Jets playing with their backup quarterback, Zach Wilson, who's been thrust back into the starting role and does not appear to be a legitimate NFL starting quarterback, all because of Aaron Rodgers tearing his left Achilles tendon, which we talked about last week a little bit. And Carmen, he had the surgery.
Yeah, my dad sent me, no, it was my stepdad sent me, the Jets, I think, posted on their Instagram a picture of him having the surgery.
Now, he is saying he thinks he can come back this year.
I doubt it.
Go ahead.
No, that's you, man. Sorry.
Okay. There would be no reason let's say the Jets are, let's say they're like 5-8.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is available and he can come back. I don't see a reason for him to come back.
Right.
If they're losing, you have a losing season. Now, if they're 500, above 500, then I would say come back and then finish out the year, get your team to the playoffs and try to make a run. But if you're having a losing season, yeah, it doesn't make sense to come back.
I personally don't see it because, I mean, there's 2 injuries. There's 2 devastating injuries that will put you away for like a year or longer. One is an ACL tear, and another one is an Achilles tendon injury. Those are the 2 injuries. Yeah. Achilles is something not to play with. Like, this is where you, like, as a quarterback, this is where you plant your feet. Like, this is where everything is around, like, this tendon. Like, it is used for a lot. Like, and just the amount of rehab you just have to do in a year just to get back to where you're at, and you're already at such a high level. Whenever you come back, so many people are going to be at such a high level from playing, having the whole season, you're just coming back near the end and just having to not only get back to where you were, but, trying to catch up with the competition, trying to get that chemistry back to where it was. I just don't see it.
And then also he could further injure himself to not ever play again.
True.
Right.
If he comes back too early.
Yeah. So. Which he probably has maybe 1 or 2 more years beyond this. So, but no, I think it's very, very wishful thinking. But, he is into alternative health, and maybe he's got something in mind that would actually work, We'll see.
Some type of medication.
The Jets season quickly went from being on Hard Knocks to being a season of Hard Knocks. Unfortunately. All right, let's look ahead to week 3 a little bit. Any matchups that kind of jump out at you guys? Giants at San Fran Thursday night. Who do you like in that game?
I don't know. I mean, where is it? Giants beat the Cardinals this week.
Yeah. So. Comeback win. But Saquon is out for a few weeks with an ankle injury. So I think I like the Niners. I love Brock Purdy. I like what they're doing. Now Brandon Ayuk, I think, might be injured for this game. But I still like San Fran in that one.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Brock Purdy show.
Absolutely.
It's Brock Purdy's world. We're just living in it. This guy, Brock Purdy, man. Go ahead.
I was going to say Atlanta at Detroit. Detroit with a tough overtime loss to Seattle. So it's their second week in a row they'll be playing against birds. We'll see. Atlanta, the big comeback win over the Packers. Kind of like Detroit at home in that one. Buffalo is at Washington. Washington, good win at Denver, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. Buffalo gets back on the winning track. I feel like Buffalo's got to be the favorite in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Denver's at Miami. Dolphins off to a 2-0 start. So
Dolphins didn't beat the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, this is my. I will say this is the matchup that intrigues me the most. I will say, I don't know, because Miami is dominant, but the Broncos haven't been looking too good under Sean Payton, and I believe, I don't know, I believe this is not a make or break for Denver, but I mean, it's just games like this that you need to turn around your season, just to boost your confidence. So
the Broncos did make a last-minute touchdown. The clock was at 0,
right,
and they made a touchdown, but they still couldn't bring it back. I think the Broncos just get too hungry at the last minute with their games.
The Washington Commanders, their defense, those guys were going for the interception instead of knocking it down. Mm-hmm. And Broncos got lucky, but then on the next play, the 2-point conversion, it was clearly pass interference.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. It definitely
and they
was.
didn't call it, which if you're Sean Payton, you got to be thinking inside. The NFL really does hate me, don't they? So, all right, then we'll have Houston at Jacksonville. Feel like Jacksonville should roll in that one. Indy at Baltimore. Ravens looking pretty good last week. Feel like that's a favorite. This game is interesting because whichever team loses will fall to 0-3 after being picked for much higher things. The Chargers at Minnesota. I don't even know who you pick in this game.
I think it's disappointing for the. I mean, I won't be able to. I won't say that I'm not surprised about the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not surprised. But the Chargers, you remember that, Justin Herbert is there was a time Justin Herbert was considered he still is considered among Joe Burrow,
Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm. Like people put him on the same pedestal as Patrick Mahomes even. So I mean, just all that out. It's just I feel like they just need to get to that start. I mean, just need something to boost it.
Yep. New England is at the Jets. Yeah.
We'll see.
It's cool.
Jets being at home, again, if they can get any kind of play out of the quarterback, they've got a chance. I agree with Kai. I think they need to commit to the run more, but we'll see. We mentioned the Saints at the Packers. Packers should be 2-0 right now.
Mm-hmm.
They should be.
And that would be a very sexy matchup if you had two teams 2-0. But I still think it's a very good matchup.
Yeah.
What do you think? Saints or Packers in that one, guys?
I don't know.
I got Packers.
I got Saints.
Noel?
I'm liking Jordan Love, man.
I got Saints, man. I don't know. Has Jordan Love seen the defense like the Saints, man?
Hey.
I don't know.
We
Ghost, who that? Who that?
Hey.
Kai is fully on the Saints bandwagon now.
Hey, Green Bay, they say Aaron who? Come on, man.
Aaron who? What do you mean?
Aaron who?
Aaron who? All right, Tennessee will be at Cleveland. Even though Cleveland will go into that game banged up, a little short-handed, I'd like them to win that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tennessee.
All right. Carolina is at Seattle. I like Seattle in that one.
Yeah.
I think Bryce Young eventually is going to be a good quarterback, but there's just a lot for him to learn getting thrown in there. Chicago's at Kansas City.
That's a blowout.
Yeah, just a matter of by how much. Dallas will be at Arizona. I like
Blowout.
the Cowboys there.
I like Arizona.
Yeah.
Blowout.
Pittsburgh will be at Las Vegas.
Ooh.
I mean, Vegas has got
Pittsburgh,
Garoppolo, they got Devontae Adams, and they have Josh Jacobs, and they still stink. How is that even possible?
Because you have Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback.
Yeah. He can't throw the ball.
You don't believe in Jimmy G anymore, huh?
No.
I've never believed in Jimmy G.
He got to the Super Bowl one time, and after that, it's just downhill.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even because of him. It wasn't even because of he did. It was just the same. I mean, the refs.
Yeah, the refs.
That's
really
true. That's true. Then on Monday night, we'll have Philly at Tampa Bay. Eagles have to be favored in that one.
Yeah.
Really.
I don't know, man. Baker Mayfield. No, let me stop. Let me stop. No, I like what Baker Mayfield's been doing, but I got to go with the Eagles on this one.
And then lastly, the Rams at Cincinnati. And Joe Burrow.
I don't know who's going to.
I got the Rams.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got the Rams.
I don't know.
I have the Bengals.
Of course, you have the
Don't
Bengals.
speak badly of Noel's husband, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow has not shown up this year, man.
I mean, he's still battling the calf strain.
I don't want to hear it, man.
I mean, you
don't
can
wanna
play with a
hear
calf
it,
strain.
man.
Come on, man. You know what?
Bro, I don't want to hear it. This man, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase. Bro, Jamar Chase had what, 30 yards receiving? Come on, man. No.
Okay, so
we're not doing this.
All right. Let me ask you this question.
What's up?
Get him.
All right, let me ask you this question.
Get him.
Would you rather have Deshaun Watson or Joe Burrow?
Deshaun Watson.
You're just saying that to be hateful now. All you're talking is
We're talking
hate.
about right now. We're talking about how they're looking right now. Watson, Burrow. Hey,
I wish
one of them
y'all
can
could
run,
see
one of
my
them can't.
face.
That's all I'm saying.
Straight face.
Straight face.
Straight face.
I would rather have Deshaun Watson right now than Joe Burrow right now.
And you are wrong. That's all I have to say.
That's the truth.
Lie.
We're going to keep these two from coming to fists.
If Deshaun Watson has won a game this year, Joe Burrow has not.
It's true.
Yeah,
So-
that's true.
YET yet.
I
And it takes a whole team to win a
Sure,
game. It takes a
sure.
whole team. Thank you.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard when your
It's an
quarterback's throwing for
Iowa
80
ball.
yards. It's kind of hard when your quarterback throws for 80 yards passing.
Oh.
At least Deshaun Watson throws for 100 plus. That's all I can say.
Hope you can feel the glare
Shots
through your
fired.
radio.
With less weapons, I might add.
Some good trash talking going on.
Just
Here in
saying.
week number 2
That
of the
is
Wildcats
saying.
Media Sports
Just
Podcast.
saying.
All right, last story of the week. This one from the world of baseball.
So yeah, Aaron Rodgers is not the only person that just had a season-ending injury. Shohei Ohtani, the Angel superstar, shut down for the season. Team cleaned out his locker. They announced on Saturday that Ohtani has been placed on a 10-day injury with an oblique injury. For people who don't know what that is, it is the muscle that makes up your six-pack.
Mine is pretty well defined.
It's responsible for age care control and rotation, so they're saying that he's not going to play again this year.
Yeah, an oblique injury for a baseball player, I mean, you can't swing because you're in pain.
No.
Now, he already had suffered an elbow injury, the UCL, ulnar collateral ligament, I believe is what it is. But anyway, he's going to need surgery for that. As that shut him down as a pitcher, but he still was determined to stay the rest of the year as a hitter, and then he
Yeah.
hurt his oblique.
Yeah.
So,
As well as with Mr. Ow, I do have a little bit protection over my oblique muscles, so I think we will all be okay. But no, they cleaned out his locker. That hurts.
Well, he's a free agent at the end of the year,
Yeah.
and he's probably in no way possible at all coming back to the Angels.
No, they announced that he's not going to play again this season.
Yeah.
He has no chance coming back.
Which is a shame. He still probably will win the American League MVP award based on what he just did through the month of August.
Yeah.
But he was on a historic season pace.
No, it sucks to see these injuries just taking out these all-around good players.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, there's just a lot of games.
That's
All those
what
games, like, I mean,
Yeah.
J.J. Watt tweeted that last night in regard to the Nick Chubb injury. He said, sports injuries really suck. And, of course, J.J. Watt would know more than anyone because
Yeah.
he was at the height of his career when he had, 3 or 4 years in a row where he suffered a season-ending injury. So it's tough. I hate seeing that, too, because it robs that player of his opportunity and it robs the fans of the chance to see him.
I do think it's a little better to get it at like the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Instead of like in the middle of the season, you're winning, you're going, say the playoffs or something,
Right.
and then boom, injury, can't play.
Yeah. Because you do see
So-
guys will come back in the middle of a season from an injury, especially baseball.
Yeah.
And then, these can still have a huge impact. But those late season injuries, when you're like, especially in a playoff chase or something like that, ugh. So, all right, we are out of time for this week. Great job by the sports reporting class. Again, our Wildcats Media Sports podcast for Carmen, for Dennis, for DeMarcus, for Kai, and for Noel. I'm Al Quartermont. Noel has something to say.
My mother listens to every single one
yeah.
of these. And just a special shout out to my mom. It's her birthday.
Oh yes, happy birthday, Noel's mother.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. Love you.
What's her name again?
Colleen.
Happy birthday, Colleen.
Yes. Thanks, Mom.
We love you, Colleen. Thank you for birthing Noel into this world
Noel's the best.
so that she could be here at LCU. So, shout out, Miss Colleen. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm not going to ask how old.
No, she's 22.
22. All right.
What? Miss Colleen.
Yeah, never aged today.
Dang. All right, everyone. Have a great week. We'll talk with you next week here on the Wildcats Media Sports Podcast.